Hi everyone, I'm Dan Abrams, and this is Court Camp.
Please adjourn and find the defendant.
Don't touch me like that.
Back up here right now.
We start off in Oklahoma at the McLean County Courthouse. We're nearing the end of the day here. On the second floor, a hearing has just finished up. You can see the judge, some observers, and a defendant, Shelby Dwayne Meyer, coming out of the courtroom. Meyer's just been convicted of child abuse by injury and is being taken into custody by the bailiff. Meyer bonded and is currently serving a sentence of 20 years for child abuse by injury. Now we head to Cleveland, Ohio, to the Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court for the sentencing of convicted serial killer Michael Madison. Madison's been convicted on 3 counts of aggravated murder for the killing and mutilation of 3 young women in Ohio. The gruesome nature of the crime shocked the community of East Cleveland. Police found the remains of the victims in different areas of Madison's neighborhood, one in his own apartment.
There was evidence of decomposition fluid in several parts of the apartment building. There were maggots that were attached to the decomposition fluid.
Today, Madison finds out if he'll receive the death penalty. As part of the hearing, Van Terry, the father of one of Madison's victims, steps up to the podium to make a victim impact statement. Mr. Terry's now just a few feet away from the man who so brutally took the life of his daughter, Sherelda.
Right now, I guess we're supposed to, in our hearts, forgive this clown. Who's touched our families, taking my child.
He's looking directly at Madison. Van Terry is released without charges. A short time later, County Judge Nancy McDonald hands down Madison's sentence. Michael Madison. Joining us now is Belinda Miner, who is the mother of Sherelda Terry and was inside court today. Thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. Tell us about that moment that Van jumped at Michael Madison. Bring us inside the courtroom.
The moment that Van jumped, it was heart-wrenching. It was frustrating to just sit there and to see the facial expression, to know that he was that angry.
Were you surprised that he had done that?
I was very surprised when it happened. I can understand why he did it, not that he planned to do any of it, but when he heard that his daughter was mutilated, that was the part that was difficult for him.
So it sounds like he learned details that he didn't know until he was in that courtroom. And that's part of what
that's
set him off.
That's part of what set him off. And when he looked at Michael Madison as to talk about our daughter and he smirked, it was like he was not even remorseful for what he had done. I think that struck his heart, and it caused him to react.
Van passed away in February of this year.
Yeah.
How was he doing with regard to the loss of your daughter?
He never healed. You know, that was something that he was not ever able to comprehend of why. It was something that he could never get over. You know how people always say that time heals all wounds? When you lose a child, time doesn't heal that wound. You get over certain parts, but it's something that you learn to live with.
Belinda Miner, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it, and I'm so sorry for your loss. We head now to Jackson, Michigan, to the 4th Circuit Court. A personal protection violation hearing is on against this man, Jacob Larson. The defendant's accused of sending unwanted advances through Facebook messages to this woman seated here, a former high school acquaintance. This incident's a violation of a restraining order against Jacob.
All those messages were like, a lot of them were like last year. Let me ask, how many of them were after, how many of them were after the days of PPO? 22. 22. I don't want to post on that much. What's that? I don't want to post on that much.
This is the second time the judge has questioned the defendant about his contact with the plaintiff. In fact, the same judge had issued the defendant's original PPO 4 months earlier.
I know, but it's like fatal attraction kind of stuff that I wonder. She apparently has no interest in
I want her to tell me to leave her alone.
You know what? I told you to leave her alone. And apparently that didn't get through loud and clear. So today, you're going to jail for 3 days. Right? And the next time you violate it, you're going to jail for...
You and her
Hey, you know what? You got a bad attitude. You had a bad attitude last time you were in court. Okay?
You and her are buddy. Y'all get along. Y'all are...
45 days county jail. Okay? 93 days in the county jail. You want to go for a year? Try it right now. One more word out of you, it'll be a year of county.
Over Facebook. Really?
Over violations of my PPO and your conduct in the court. 93 days in count.
The judge, clearly agitated by the defiant defendant, is sending him to jail.
I ain't never threatened.
Stand up. Come, stand up.
Yeah, buddy.
Stand up. You're going to jail for a year in the county. 365 days county jail.
Can't do that.
Appeal it.
I will. Good.
Put your hands behind your back.
Now.
Now.
I'll leave you alone. I'll leave you alone. Tell me right now.
Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Tase his ass right now.
The judge now steps in to help subdue the defendant.
Put it down. That's enough for you. All right? I will make it 93. You can think about it. All right?
Over Facebook.
It's over. Well, so I know her. That's not there. Get to know you all through.
I'm good. That's all right.
93 days.
Larson sentenced to 93 days in county jail.
Can't tell me to leave you alone. Can't tell me to leave you alone.
We're now in the El Paso County Courthouse in El Paso, Texas.
All right.
Please be seated. The record should reflect the attorneys for the state, the attorneys for the accused are present in the courtroom.
The man you see here is 41-year-old Daniel Villegas, accused of killing 2 teens in 1993 when he was just 16. At that time, without an attorney or his parents present, Villegas says he was coerced by an El Paso detective into confessing to the murders. Despite recanting the confession hours later, it became a key piece of evidence for the prosecution.
Present in the courtroom. The court has received a message from the jury indicating that they've reached a verdict.
Villegas has been on trial 3 separate
Bring the jury in.
His first trial in 1994 ended in a mistrial due to a hung jury. A 1995 retrial ended with a conviction for capital murder, and Villegas was sentenced to life in prison. After spending 18 years in prison, that verdict was thrown out in 2013 because of ineffective assistance of counsel. Villegas was released in January of 2014 and has remained out on bond as he awaited a 3rd trial. During that time, he fathered 2 children. Though the prosecution continued to insist on his guilt, there was no DNA, no firearm, and no forensic evidence presented linking Villegas to the shooting.
If the defendant will please stand.
The last 25 years of his life, much of it in prison, has all led up to this moment.
In the District Court of El Paso County, Texas, 409th Judicial District, the State of Texas versus Daniel Villegas, number 94-0D09328. Verdict Form B. We, the jury, find the defendant Daniel Villegas not guilty of...
first time since he was 16 years old, 25 years ago, Daniel Villegas is a free man.
Mr. Villegas, you have been under many conditions in this court. You are no longer under any conditions in this court. You are free to leave. Good luck to you.
We're off now to Raleigh, North Carolina, in the Wake County Courthouse. Visitors, attorneys, and employees of the court are entering the building and going through the main security checkpoint. Watch closely as this man picks up his personal belongings from the container. Whoops. He has no idea he just dropped his wallet, and now he heads to the elevators. It's not until he attempts to pay a court research fee on another floor that he realizes his wallet is missing. Inside is $1,600 in cash. Fortunately for him, someone returns the wallet to another security checkpoint in the building later that day. Unfortunately for him, it's missing the cash. So security does some sleuthing. This gentleman makes his way through security and apparently becomes aware of the situation. He and the wallet head to the elevators, just missing the wallet's owner. It looks like he's checking out the contents. He goes up to the 4th floor. A short time later, he's back in an elevator. See what looks like the wallet here in his folder. He gets off on the 1st floor and turns the wallet into security, minus the cash. He tells them he found the wallet in a bathroom. Security's able to track him down and arrest him in court. What was he doing in court? Defending someone. Because he is a defense attorney. He's convicted of misdemeanor larceny, and as a result, he's disbarred, fired from his job, no longer allowed to practice law in the state of North Carolina. Arrangements are made to pay back the $1,600 to its rightful owner. Now we move on to Washtenaw County Trial Court in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Anything further, Mr. Canatra?
I would ask that you follow the sentence agreement, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Adams.
Nothing further, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Taylor, is there anything you'd like to tell me before I sentence?
21-year-old Brian Earl Taylor is about to receive his sentence for unlawful imprisonment and carrying a concealed weapon. Police reportedly found Taylor struggling with a man while putting a gun to his stomach.
Hello, Honorable Judge O'Brien. My name is Brian Taylor. I would like to start off my speech by saying sorry to the victim, Shawan Smith. My sorrow also to you, Your Honor, for presenting myself in your courtroom again. These 4 months that I have been incarcerated, I have thought of a methodical plan to ensure I never go to prison ever again. I want to go back to school to finish my major business management at Eastern Michigan University. I want to involve myself around people that I grew up with that have positive goals. In conclusion, Your Honor, I would like to apologize to the victim again. I am truly sorry. I am asking you to sentence me to 36 months, please, instead of 42, because I have a 7-year-old brother that looks up to me, and I need to be there for him as a male figure to show him how to grow as a mature young adult. Thank you, Your Honor, for your consideration and letting me speak. And also, I wrote a song. Hello.
Taylor. Well, you're obviously a talented young man, and I hope that you'll be able to use your time productively when you're in the Michigan Department of Corrections to take advantage of the programs that they have, so you will be able to reach your goals.
Despite his performance, Judge O'Brien explains the minimum guideline range for his crimes is 50 to 100 months, regardless of his talent. Taylor sentenced to 2 years for illegally carrying a concealed weapon and another 18 months to 15 years for unlawful imprisonment. 5 other charges against him are dismissed, so maybe it did have an impact in the end. Here to answer that question is Judge O'Brien herself. Thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So, did his apology and his song help?
No, it really didn't in this case because there was a sentence agreement, and I honored that sentence agreement. But I have to listen to what the defendant has to say. They have a right to allocute, and I listened.
Do you think that he thought it was going to help?
Yeah, he really did, because even after I sentenced him, then he asked, orally, just trying to argue with me about reducing it. And I told him he got a very good deal from the prosecutor, and that was the best that he was going to get.
Did anyone criticize you for allowing him to do it?
Not to my face. Judges don't often get the criticism directly to their face, but I would imagine that there are some judges who wondered about this, and if it was federal court, I don't think that ever would have happened. But state court is different. It's more of a people's court. I work for the people, and people need to be heard.
And he was heard.
Yes, he was.
Around the country.
And around the world.
And around the world.
Yeah.
Didn't help his sentence, though.
No.
Judge O'Brien, thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate it. That's it for this edition of Court Cam. Thanks for watching.